Hello and welcome to Nope, There's Only Trash Here podcast, episode 32. The date today is the 24th of November 2013. So, after the intense Nintendo talk that was last week with Cal's Crazy, we're now back to normal with the Pioneer Joe returning once more to teach us how not to play video games again.
I'm glad you haven't forgot about that.
Never forget.
Because I did.
Oh, okay.
So thank you.
Yeah.
For reminding me.
Well, do we want to do the Pioneer check? Have you actually played any games in the last 2 weeks?
I've continued playing 20-minute chunks of Pokemon.
Oh, nice. So you're allowed that. You're
count?
allowed the 20 minutes, but anything beyond that, that's just crazy talk.
That's too much for me. I can't handle that. Also, I like how I'm just going back a little bit, but you even had like a little bit of hesitation before 32. Then, even though you just checked it, you had just checked it.
Because it's one of those things where it's like when I don't know what the time is sometimes, obviously. So I look at my phone or my watch, I see the numbers, I put my phone back in my pocket, then I'm like, what's the time? Like, do you ever do that? I just blank on the time even though I just checked it, so I have to check it again and actually take it in. It's kind of like that.
I think you should go to the doctors.
No, I'm sure other people are like that. It's just like...
No, it's just you.
Oh, shoot. Oh, it's good to be
weird.
unique, I suppose.
It's good to be a pioneer.
Yeah, to succeed or not succeed, actually.
I did buy a game, though, which I do plan to play.
Ooh. Is it Path of Furon?
How did you... No. It was... in my streams that I've been doing, lots of people have suggested this Red Faction game.
Oh, so, the Gorilla or Armageddon?
Armageddon. The Gorilla one.
Okay.
I keep thinking gorilla, like an actual monkey.
Yeah.
No, gorilla.
Well, that's offensive. Gorillas aren't monkeys. That's out of order.
I know.
That's really just not nice.
I'm sorry. So I got that because it's supposed to be quite good, and it was £2.50.
Yeah.
I'll be having that.
Must be good.
See that? Oh, shut up. That's what you get for being so late to games. You get them cheap.
Well, that came out like 2008, 2009, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't really caught up on the Red Faction games.
I have no idea what they are.
Well, have you played it yet?
No.
Because I was really curious, because it does keep coming up in your streams. Like, people just asking for that game, and it seems like...
I know!
Out of
this
all of the games...
best damn game ever.
Because it got average reviews, and did average. And I think, is that the third-person one?
Yeah. Because
I played a demo of that, and I thought it was terrible. Like, I only played the demo, so I'm not going to say the game is terrible, but I was on Mars... third person, walked along, shot some guys, and then I blew up because there was a grenade. And I was like, well, this demo hasn't convinced me.
Well, we'll find out soon, but it better be good. I'll be severely disappointed.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. It sounds very culty, but that's a good thing, I think.
Well, I just like destroying stuff, so that'll be fun. That is a destructible game, isn't it?
Yeah, that was their big thing. You could blow up walls back on the PS2.
Yeah. Mindless violence.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
But you also streamed Super Mario Galaxy, which I wasn't there for. But I'm curious to how you found that game, because you play platformers, but it doesn't, because you're a PS2 guy mostly. That's the impression I've got. I don't know if you played the Nintendo platformers that much.
What, like?
You know, just like Mario and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, more so when I was younger, but I actually found it quite simple to get back into the controls, which I liked. Very, very pick up and play still, which was nice. Even though, because I'm left-handed, I have to have the controls in different hands and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But no, it was good. It was good, and I wasn't as terrible as I thought I'd be.
See, yeah, that game gets kind of hard, though, so look forward to that if you keep playing it.
What, Red Faction?
No, Super Mario Galaxy.
Oh, Super Mario Galaxy.
See,
no, I mean, I've already played it, yeah.
Because that's my favourite game. Mario game, I should say.
Okay.
Graphics, controls, I love it.
I did used to play, actually, it's on my Wii, Donkey Kong Country.
Oh.
Does that count as a platformer?
Yeah. One of the big ones.
Yeah, I used to play it when I was very young, and I sucked. But still, it was fun. Yeah, I like Nintendo ones.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a Nintendo guy, so... I mean, I haven't played... Yeah, well, I don't know if you could tell.
I did not notice that.
I'm very subtle in my bias towards Nintendo. You might have picked up the keener ear listener, but no, I always do, but... Oh god, they're so good. And now I'm really upset because the new Mario game is out, 3D World. I have slagged it off quite a lot, yes, but I still wanted it.
Yes.
And it's not out in Europe yet, and when it does come out, I won't have the 40 quid to shell out to get it. So I'm going to have to wait till Christmas to play me some new Mario, and it's kind of hard. I'm upset about it.
Well, you say that, you're a Nintendo guy, but at least to pass that time, you're playing a bit of James Bond.
Well, yeah, but that counts. That it's a remake of an N64 game that then got remade onto the Wii. I mean, I guess out of the 3 versions that exist, I am playing the one on a non-Nintendo console, but I have played the other 2.
Yeah.
And the 360 one is better than the Wii one, but that's neither here nor there.
No.
Oh, but anyway... let's get into the podcast because...
Enough vlogging.
Yeah, enough talking about our lives and games and all that stuff. Got to talk about the news. So, of course, the big thing that's happening at the moment is that we're in the middle of the holiday season, but it's an even crazier holiday season because the Xbox One came out last Friday worldwide, and the week before the PS4 came out in America. So it's kind of hard to say a lot about these consoles, but the most interesting thing about them is that very similar things have happened to them. So, with the Xbox One, it sold 1 million in a day. The PS4, launching in America, also sold 1 million in the day, although that counts as 2 territories because it came out in Canada and America, so it's not quite, that crazy. And then... Xbox is apparently breaking, with some of the discs just not working in them. People just have a massive list of problems. And also with the PS4, there was the big HDMI thing where if you plugged it in, it would break the HDMI cable and not work, and some of the consoles just don't work. So we've been talking all this time about how these are 2 very similar consoles, and they're pretty much the same. I didn't think the launches would be exactly the same as well. It's getting to the point where it's kind of creepy just how similar these 2 consoles are.
And even the fact they're complimenting each other on Twitter, congratulations, Sony. Oh, well done, Microsoft. Oh, that's so nice.
Piss off, Nintendo.
Exactly, yeah, pretty much. Nintendo's the one left in the corner no one likes.
Yeah, they just favourite everything, but never actually tweet or do anything on Facebook. They just favourite stuff. So they're always watching, they're just never quite taking part in the same way.
That's sad.
But no, I found that creepy as well, them complimenting each other, because who's the one who actually sent the tweets?
Some stupid little assistant person, probably.
Yeah, it's just some random guy in the company. If it was the president of each company or the CEO on their personal Twitters, or not personal, but their proper Twitters, tweeting each other like that, then that would be a kind of bit better. But this is just a bit weird. One company liking the other company on a social network. It's just something about it. It's very... I don't like it.
No. It's kind of like they don't really understand how to use Twitter in that way. It's like, oh, I know what we're going to do. Let's kind of compliment the other one, and it will look like we're really cool and nice, and it just comes off as creepy.
Yeah, that's it. People always have to jump aboard social media because millions and millions of people jump to it, and then they just kind of have to guess the rules rather than use the social media and adjust to it. And it also doesn't help that it's obviously really insincere. Insincere. They don't mean it at all. It was completely pointless, but they did it anyway.
I would have much preferred if they were kind of, bitching to each other on Twitter. That would be much more interesting to watch.
Yeah, just, Bill Gates or Microsoft tweeting at Sony like, hey, just saw this new NAC review. Not looking great. Hashtag
Exactly.
Forza 5 available now.
You should be their marketing.
I would get some stuff done. I would stir the pot, get something going. But no, so if we look at the numbers though, right, with the million being sold, now we're not going to know who's going to win this Christmas, this holiday season, because I'll be honest, that's all I'm interested in. Who sells the most, because I'm not buying one over the other just yet, because I don't want to waste my money on a console where all the games I want on that console I can already play them. But Xbox One sold 1 million in the first day, but was launched in 13 countries. Because if you recall, the Xbox was only going to launch in 13 countries, but the PS4 is going to launch in 22. But the PS4 sold 1 million copies in just America and Canada alone. And also, the president of GameStop, and I quote, has said, "We still have over 2.3 million customers on the first to know list." So basically, not all the pre-orders got out for the PS4. Now, they might turn around and say something for the Xbox One in a very similar fashion, but I don't know. We just kind of have to wait and see. But it definitely seems at this point in time, the PS4 is kind of easily winning this fight for sales.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. That there's just not enough to go around. People are getting itchy and angry.
But my thing is about this is that I think there's enough Xbox fans to buy the Xbox One up to Christmas. Like, Christmas is only a month away. That's not that much time, for people to go get their consoles. So each both the Xbox One and PS4 is going to sell out until then. Because they're already sold out, and of course they're going to make more new stock. So really, I think the one that sells the most up until Christmas is the one that just makes the most. The one that can manufacture enough, the ones that can get them on the shelves, that's the one that's going to sell the most this holiday season.
Yeah. I so. There's that whole thing about PlayStation, that originally the PlayStation 3s were actually making a loss or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that true?
Yeah, totally true.
And I mean, is this the same sort of deal? I would imagine not.
No, I read something. Apparently, a PS4 costs, I think I read $384 to make and produce. So Sony is taking away like $10, $15 per every PS4 sold.
Okay.
So they're not losing money, but they're not making a lot of money off it anyway.
So there's not really any difference in terms of like manufacturing.
No. I don't believe so anyway. But it's still pretty interesting though, because the big thing is that with the PS2 going to the Xbox 360, because the PS2 was the biggest one, such a big market share, and then the PS3 was way too expensive, didn't really work properly, and just was a bit crap at the beginning. There was a massive jump in the market share to people jumping over to Microsoft when Sony had such a big lead. And now it seems like the same thing has kind of happened here. With America, they had such a big lead on that, but now everyone's willing to jump back to the PS4 because it's cheaper and it's a good console, and because nobody wants the Xbox One. Well, a lot of people do, but there's nothing about it that makes you think, yeah, I'm going to spend more money on this console. So I think that's pretty interesting, because people always say, people don't have allegiances anymore or any loyalty when it comes to video game consoles. It's, that looks good, so that's the one they buy. Which I'm not surprised at, but it's pretty interesting that Sony was able to make that shift back to being the winner in just one generation.
Well, yeah, because I look at the Xbox One and I can kind of admire what they're trying to do with the whole all-in-one thing. But at the end of the day, I don't want that. I don't know who. I mean, there's people that do want that, but the type of people we know, they want a gaming console, not an entertainment console. And also, I didn't realise that. What one was it? I think it was Call of Duty Ghosts. On the Xbox One, it wasn't actually 1080p.
No, and
it's upscaled.
Yeah, on the PS4 it was rendered native 1080p, but not the Xbox One.
What the hell's up with that?
Apparently it's something to do with the architecture of the Xbox One. It means that you can render stuff in 1080p natively on the Xbox One. It's just harder to do. Like, it's just, I don't know the technical details. It's just awkward. It's just really hard to get done. Like, you really have to know the hardware to get that done, which is why Forza 5 was rendered in 1080p natively, but that's about the only one. So I think for about the next year, most Xbox One games are going to be 720p native and then upscaled to 1080.
That sucks.
It's awful. I don't know how that could happen when they're so...
How can they call that next gen?
I don't know. Like, it's bizarre. Like, even there's a lot of Wii U games that are rendered natively in 1080p. Like, so that's kind of what they have to compare it to. I don't think Call of Duty Ghost was, or I did some research into it and that wasn't. But still, if you can't even overtake the Wii U in terms of power, there's a major problem there. Like, a major one.
Do you think it's because of all the like TV snap function stuff?
I don't think so, because that's a RAM issue, and I don't think rendering it in 1080p natively is a RAM thing. It's just the way the thing is put together. You know, I don't know enough details, or I don't have the knowledge to really go into it, but it's just something about the way the Xbox is put together, where compared to the PS4, it's a lot harder to do. But there's also an interesting thing where, with Assassin's Creed 4 on the PS4, the 1080p natively was patched in. Like, if you're not connected to the internet with the PS4 and you just put in Assassin's Creed, it's 720p native. But then if you just download this one patch, then it jumps to 1080p. So I don't know how that works at all.
Magic.
Probably magic.
Sony magic.
French Sony magic.
Jack guy. Jack Trenton or whatever his name is.
Jack Trenton?
I don't know what his name is. The head guy. It's him.
Oh. No, I have no idea.
You know. No? Do you not know? No, I quite liked him.
I think I could recognise the guy, like, because I've watched enough conferences, but I don't know his name.
Okay.
I don't know the Microsoft guy's name either.
Oh.
Is that Phil Spencer?
Phil Spencer?
He's up there, I think.
Bill Gates?
He sounds important.
Yeah, maybe him.
He probably made the Xbox One, maybe.
But actually, going back to the PS4 quickly, something that I was annoyed about, I've got to be equal in my annoyance. I was annoyed at the Xbox One upscaling. I'm also annoyed at PS4s. I can understand it, I suppose. I'm arguing with myself here. The whole HDMI, encryption thing they've got going on.
Right.
So you can't record from it.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
I mean, that's obviously done so you can't pirate Blu-rays or films or whatever. That's fair enough. But for people like us, I mean, I don't ever plan on recording from a next-gen console anytime soon. But, you know, it's still... Some people want to do it, especially big YouTubers and whatever. You can't do it because not many anyway, not many capture things recognise the encrypted HDMI.
Well, I hear, you know how up to the launch of these consoles, people were talking about features that's going to get patched in and what it will and won't have at launch. I believe that one of the features is that they're going to patch in or something like that. I think that's going to be one of them to allow people to record easier, but I don't know. There were so many details being thrown around, but I think they are going to work towards making that easier for people. But I guess I don't think it is anything to do with copyright stuff, though. I think it's a case of one of their big things is streaming and being able to record on the console. So you're going to stream and record on the console if that's what you want to do. Because the PS3 didn't have that, and that was a Blu-ray player, and the 360 was a DVD player, so you could have pirated stuff from consoles for like years. Like the PS2, you could have done that as well with capture cards. So I don't really think it's a copyright thing. I think it's, we've got this new system, we're going to make people use it.
They just want to patch in all the things, don't they?
Yeah.
Patch in it. Why do it if you're going to patch it in? Screw them.
But the most annoying thing about these consoles, though, is this whole patching in thing and fixing stuff. Like, both the Xbox One and PS4 has reported a ton of problems. Like, not every console, but a ton of people have brought the console and had it not work. And I really don't like that philosophy that Microsoft and Sony now have, where it's like, we'll just put it out there and then fix the problems afterwards because people won't remember. And people don't remember. Like, people, like, you can make a Red Ring joke about 360 and people would laugh and had a good time, but the amount of people that went through like 3 or 4 of the bloody consoles just because they just didn't work is kind of extraordinary. And then they would still, a lot of those people still went out and bought an Xbox One, even though Microsoft has proven, you know, a bit like Apple as well, they did this with the original iPhones, that when their new hardware comes out, it's crap. It will probably break. And I just don't know how they can have that philosophy. I mean, I guess it's because people let them get away with it. People will still go out and spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on technology, even if it doesn't work, because people care more about having the latest thing than something that actually works.
It's true though, because you don't really expect that in any other form of electronics. Like, you wouldn't go and buy a TV and be like, oh well, it's crashed. I kind of knew that was coming though, and then like go take it back. You'd be really mad.
Yeah, and take it back multiple times, and then so, oh, the new one has come out from this manufacturer. I better go buy it day one. Can't miss out.
They're sneaky. They got themselves into that position very well.
Yeah, I don't get it though. How can you release a console like that? Like, it used to be, like with the NES and all those old consoles, like the Commodore, that used to be what they were like. But video games weren't doing too well, and it became a case of the video game market crash of 1983, and then video games actually became... they actually started working. They actually made them properly so people could use them easily, and it wasn't a headache, and they didn't break. And now we're going back to needlessly complicated, like, online stuff and just broken consoles. So if we're not careful, and if these companies can't keep up with making consoles that work and keeping it simple, people are just not going to buy consoles anymore. I mean, I don't think that's actually going to happen, but it's the same direction we're going in, and the next generation probably will be worse. So it's lucky that there's games like Call of Duty and then the casual market keeping the video game market growing through this whole generation, but it's kind of growing to a really bad place. I don't like where it's going.
You heard it here first, folks. Clairvoyant Tom.
Oh, that's a new one.
Pioneer, it's not as good as Pioneer Muckluck, but still, has just predicted that there will be a video game crash.
Well, it's just
sometime soon.
I don't think it's actually going to happen because there's too much money behind it. Well, actually, no. It's just the video game market just needs to dip a little bit, and because of how expensive video games are to make, if there's a little dip, that's enough, I think, to sink the whole ship. It's just all this money behind it, and if people stop buying it, then it goes away. I mean, we've seen that in recent years with companies. The people behind L.A. Noire, it was a big seller, but they were like instantly shut down because they had problems with resources and spending money. And then companies like Activision and EA are like, oh, that company isn't doing that well, shut it down. Like, Activision shut down Eurocom, and then EA shut down the people that made the Command & Conquer games because people didn't really respond well to the new ones. So it's kind of cutthroat, and if the market dips a little bit, then all these companies are going to use this cutthroat policy, you know, across the board, and then we're going to be in a really bad place we're going to be in a really bad place.
Well, see, Debbie Downer.
Yeah, saw that coming.
You knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. But no, that's just... I don't think that could happen. I'm just throwing it out there as a
worst case scenario.
Because as we just saw, both these consoles managed to sell 1 million in a day, and will probably sell a few more million before the end of the year. So there's no shortcoming of people playing video games. It's just it can't keep growing, and if these companies continue to treat their customers like crap and make crap products, then a business can't last that long if that's the state it's in.
True. So are people just sending their consoles back then and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, Microsoft has said that they're offering to replace them, so I don't think they're going to fix them. I think they're just going to burn them all or something. because they're probably just, it's not worth fixing. So yeah, if you have a broken Xbox One out there, contact Microsoft, and they have said they will replace it with a new console. I don't know when you would get that console due to stock concerns, but you are pretty much guaranteed a new one from them. And Sony, I'm not too sure, but I would assume they have a similar thing going on where you can send off your console and get it repaired.
Actual advice from this podcast. Amazing.
Yeah, for all the Xbox One people.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't do that anyway.
Yeah.
But still, it's nice.
We're just giving them a nudge in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's like, do it now. Give them a call now, not later. Just do it now.
Exactly.
Right, so let's look at the launch games. Now, of course, we already knew what the launch games are, but now we have all the reviews giving their, opinions on them. So, I'm only going to look at the exclusives because it's like, oh, who cares about Battlefield 4, really? So, the exclusives on Xbox One, we have Forza 5, and on Metacritic, these all come from Metacritic, which, as always, they're not perfect, but it's a good indication. So, Forza 5 got 82, Dead Rising 3 got 78, Killer Instinct got 73, and lastly, Rise Son of Rome got 61. So, yeah, Rise isn't good, apparently. That's nuts.
What a surprise.
I am shocked. As someone who almost played it, I am not surprised by this news. So close. And then on the Sony side, quite depressing, there's a game called Rishogun, which got 83, but it's PSN title, I believe. Killzone Shadowfall got 73. Knack got 56.
Ooh.
And then there's a port of this game called Flower, which got 92, but it's a port of a PS3 game, so it is exclusive, but not quite the same.
That doesn't count.
No, not really. So if you look at the games like that, Xbox One has the better exclusives, really, just by the numbers.
But then you've got to remember that the exclusives are like, yeah, most of it is the same.
Yeah. Well, if we look at Rise, you can just take out that because it got a low score. And then Killer Instinct, it got 73, so fighting people might like it, but we can take out that if you don't like fighting games.
Take out Forza right now.
Oh, I like Broom Broom. To fight, we can take out Forza, because Joe said so.
Yes.
So that's Dead Rising 3, which only got 78, which I think is lower than the other two games. I think Dead Rising 2 did quite well, or better than 78 review-wise. But what this ultimately means is that there's no killer game. There is no killer game for either of these consoles, and that's, I think, a massive problem.
You'd think they'd plan these sorts of things. It's like they've kind of reached this point and, oh crap, we've got no games.
Shoot, what's kind of ready? We can patch it in later, if there's any problems.
But really, do they not think they need... I mean, maybe they thought that Rise was going to be it, or
I think
Knack.
Forza 5 was their big one, because Forza is a big series. It does, well, not a massive one. The last one didn't sell too great, but Forza 5, that's a seller right there.
But racing's so boring.
Yeah. I can't argue. I like racing games, but I can't argue against you.
Knack is a disappointment.
A disaster. I'm going to say
a big
disaster. Ooh.
On a personal level, I kind of wanted it to be good.
Me too. I wanted a good platformer, but no.
Yeah.
Just another crap one.
I've seen videos, it's just same thing throughout the whole game, it's just sad.
This is just brutal launches, because you may think, oh, there is some games still out there. You still got Killzone, which 73 isn't bad, if you like shooting games, but really not having a killer game is what has sunk a lot of consoles, or it means they just won't sell. Like with the 3DS, didn't have a killer game, didn't sell anything, nobody wanted it. Then here we go, Super Mario 3D World and Mario Kart 7, wonderful. Then everyone picks it up. Like, I know there was a price cut, but at the same time, the 3DS still would have sold a lot with just 3D Land and Mario Kart 7. And then the GameCube didn't really sell that well, but then Super Mario Sunshine, okay, let's go check that out. And then the original Xbox only sold because of Halo. Like, there wasn't any other games on the Xbox apart from Fable and Halo, and that thing sold pretty damn well for like the first console. So the fact that neither of these two companies can produce that big killer app is kind of a bit concerning for, not now up to Christmas, but in 2014, if they can't bring it with a new killer game that people really want, then they're not going to do great.
No. That's... I don't know what else to add to that. What games are coming out then?
Well, the big ones, the big Xbox One, which they're already advertising sort of, is Titanfall.
Oh yeah.
That's already in the adverts for Xbox One, even though it doesn't come out until March.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah, then Watch Dogs, but that's current gen and on both systems. So, you know, because I'm just thinking, because like with a lot of these games coming out, like Watch Dogs, you can just play it on your current gen systems and be fine. There's got to be a reason to make the jump with like, here's an exclusive, awesome game. You got to play it. It's going to be good. And on the PS4, I guess there's Infamous Second Son. There's another one, but I can't remember it. There's Uncharted. They did a teaser for that recently.
Oh.
So when that comes out, that will be a big killer game, because, you know, Naughty Dog are awesome, and Uncharted is going to be pretty good. So that will be their big killer one. And then I guess with Xbox One, there's also the new Halo, which I think looks wank, but that will still be like a big killer game. So I think they will have these ready by next holiday season, but just I think for this first year, there won't be that many jumpers to this next gen.
No, and also, I think a lot of people who have jumped already, a lot of them maybe a little bit naively, are kind of expecting this amazing... We've talked about this, amazing graphics.
Yes.
And they've been disappointed by it. Because, like we mentioned before, it's not so much that graphics are getting better, but it's more kind of like the handling of physics and entities on screen, things like that. And so it's like, when they notice that, the lighting looks a tiny bit better, they get a bit disappointed. But at the same time, when you compare the first few games to come out on Xbox 360 and PS3, and then you look at the last games being released, like GTA 5, there's just it's just completely different. But then, on top of that, I was reading that the reason why there was such a long time for developers to harness the power of the Xbox 360 and PS3 was that it was such a different architecture in terms of hardware and software than the PS2s and Xboxes. This time there's not as big of a jump, so really what we're seeing now is not going to be too different to what we can get in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, with these new consoles, it's pretty much, if you've developed a game on the PS3, it's one of those, but with more RAM. Like, that's pretty much it, because it's Blu-ray. So, because I mean, there was big problems with the PS3 to start with, but now the industry has worked through it, and then these consoles are pretty much them. So, yeah, there shouldn't be really any major problems in that front. But I mean, with what you just said, it makes it even more baffling why the Xbox One Call of Duty game isn't in 1080p. Because surely it should be simple. Like, Microsoft didn't have to do anything much with this new console. It's just, here's how it's going to be. It's Blu-ray, it's got this and this and this. So it shouldn't have been complicated. And it's just a bit baffling that apparently they found a way to make it more complicated.
Good on them. Well done, Xbox.
A-star for trying to screw everyone over.
And they nearly did.
But no, so these consoles, they'll do alright. But then I think, in the same way that people complained about the Wii U having no games when it first came out, the same thing's going to happen. Like, what games are coming out in March apart from Titanfall? And this March last year, or technically this year, that's when people started being like, the Wii U doesn't have any games. When really, it did. It's just not going to have any killer massive games because the thing only just came out. And I think the exact same thing's going to happen with the Xbox One and PS4. But, you know, lo and behold, the people who brought those consoles won't remember, and then I'll just be told to shut up because I'm just ranting about Nintendo again.
Are you, I should say, are you kind of disappointed. There's not more excitement for this release. I just kind of feel a bit. Yeah.
I think there is excitement. I mean, I've got a mate who got one pre-ordered. He's not around at the moment because he went home to go play it. So I will get a chance to spend a lot of time with the Xbox One over the course of next week. But no, I don't feel that much excitement, really. I mean, there were people who were like, woo. But then the weird thing is that there should be more excitement than usual because these consoles selling 1 million in a day, that's like record-breaking stuff. They broke records by selling that much, so there should be a stupid amount of them around, or everyone should know someone with one of the systems, and I don't think that's the case, really.
Maybe it's just because I'm not like 12 anymore.
No.
Maybe that's why. Or maybe it's because there's not as, like we've always said on this podcast, that because there are still games on this, well, now I suppose it's the old... Wait, how are we going to address Xbox 360s and PS3s now? Is that the old?
Yeah, that's last gen.
Last gen? That's weird. Because there are games that are still going to be out on those, there's not... It's like not a, like you said, it's not a jump. There's no jump. You can kind of be happy sitting back. Maybe that's why as well.
Well, it's also because when you break it down, people don't get excited about a console. People get excited about games. So back when I was younger and I was like, the N64 looks awesome, I wasn't actually excited about the N64. I was excited about Super Mario 64 and GoldenEye and Banjo-Kazooie. But if there's no games behind it, it's hard to go like, the Xbox One is awesome when there's no games to back that up. So
I suppose so.
So until they get that, no one is going to be, apart from the hardcore fans, nobody's going to be that excited about them. Because what can they do that the current gen can't?
Xbox Snap.
Oh, did you see that in the adverts? They actually put that in. Some guy goes into his house and he's like, Xbox on. It's like, ugh.
Did you see the IGN video? That guy kind of test driving it.
No. Good
It
results?
didn't. Well, he had to say everything twice, pretty much.
Great.
For it to register. But it kind of made a little bit of sense at some points, but yeah.
What made sense, as in it made sense to talk to your Xbox rather than push a button?
It was quicker. Yeah, it was actually quicker to get to something than using a controller. That's the only sense I see in it, really.
But then again, I have a Wii U, and you can have everything on the bottom screen that you'd want to jump to. And you can just tap it rather than go Xbox music.
And I suppose you can have the little pins, like your favourites as well, and just pin it to there, whatever you need. It's just a gimmick, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I don't get. That's why I don't... Because you have to pay more for this console. I've said this many times, but you have to pay more for the console to get something no one cares about. Like I already mentioned it before when I went to the Xbox One tour, nobody was playing Kinect. There was queues for everything but the Kinect. And there would just be one confused girl being like, do I wave my arms like this? And also, like, the games have been getting awful reviews, like Su Tycoon, I didn't mention it, but I think it's got like around a 60 on Metacritic. And then IGN put up their review of The Fighter Within, which is a Ubisoft fighting game using the Kinect for Xbox One. That got a 2.7.
Oh.
It might have been less than that, actually, but it's around a 2. So even the games are crap. So you're not playing it for games, you're really just buying it for the microphone, which everyone has.
And yeah, because you're not buying it for the functions either, because I don't know why they keep advertising, Microsoft keeps advertising Skype with it, because it is just the most awkward thing I've seen, especially when you use it with the voice commands. Like in this IGN video, the guy demonstrates a Skype call. And it's like, Xbox, Skype, so-and-so. And that bit's fine, But then, are we really going to live in a world where people go, Xbox, hang up, right in front of the person?
Oh.
That's just so horrible and nasty.
And
it didn't work. It didn't work, and they were just awkwardly staring at each other.
That's beautiful.
Oh.
So are you going to be on Skype and be like, Xbox, block? Tim, and then it just calls Tim instead. It's like, oh no,
Oh God, no!
god damn it,
And then you say something vaguely like "hang up," and then it just closes it. It's like, oh crap!
damn it. Yeah, because also that's confusing, because surely when you're on Skype on your brand new Xbox One, you might be talking about the Xbox One. So you're going to say the word Xbox quite a lot.
It's just going to confuse the poor thing.
Yeah, that's so... I guess you can turn off those voice commands. So that means you have to say Xbox, cool, whoever, and then at the beginning of the call, Xbox, no more commands, or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
That's so
It's
stupid.
just a flawed concept.
Yeah. And the most baffling thing is that Sony could just release a patch that does the same thing when you have a headset plugged in.
Yeah.
Just PS4, download Killzone or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
So their feature that you're paying 80 quid more for can be replicated quite easily. And the video games are crap.
Oh, and it zooms in on the person, and then it will zoom out if more people enter the room.
Ew.
Right.
Ew, no.
Yeah.
Some people... Surely you've put the camera in a specific spot so it looks where you want it to look.
It looks where it wants to look.
Yeah, it's looking around the place, like checking out people.
Pretty much. Oh, someone's entered. Let's just go zoom in on that person.
Say, hey, what's up?
Hey. It's like, oh God, no, why are you looking at me? Go away.
So weird. Like, just trying to control social stuff. That's what makes it creepy.
What is it? It's the fact that it's less in your control now. This doesn't make any sense.
No, it's horrible. It's really horrible. I mean, of course, with the Xbox One, you don't have to use any of that crap, but that's what you're paying for. So, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. It'd be silly not to, but then you play it and then you realise I've made a huge mistake.
And also, I know people praise Xbox Live, but I've had problems with Xbox Live and that service throughout my time with my 360. Just the other day, all I wanted to do was download my profile because it was on a mate's memory stick and he had it, and I wanted to use my save files that were on my 360, but they were locked to my profile, so I had to start a new game, but I didn't want to do that, so I wanted my profile, and it took like 40 minutes to get that done. It's crazy because I had to download like 4-5 updates, which I didn't want. Because when I play single player games, I unplug my Wi-Fi adapter from my 360 because I don't want to be disturbed. Like, that's the weird thing about always being connected to the internet. Sometimes people choose not to be connected to the internet. Like, I know...
You're crazy.
Oh, no. Well, people don't want to be connected all the time, apparently. But I just want to be left alone if I'm playing a single player game. Don't want anything to do with the internet, don't want to download DLC, I don't care, I don't want to type in a code, just want to put it in, sit down, be alone, play some video games. I'd like the online stuff, playing multiplayer, but I want to choose when I do that. But then I just had to get all these updates. It was such a headache. And it's just like, I can't... It's just another reason why I don't want an Xbox One, and I don't like Microsoft, because I don't think they would have fixed that stuff. Like, I remember playing Modern Warfare 2 and Halo back in the day, and it used to just kick people randomly out of parties. Everyone would be in a party chat talking, and then you would just get kicked for no reason.
Yeah, I can see that sort of stuff I just completely forgot about. But yeah, that used to happen all the time.
Yeah, it was awful. And then sometimes you'll just try and jump in someone else's game, and it just says, can't connect to their game. No explanation given. You just can't connect to it. So sometimes it'll be like everyone meet up online to play some video games, and then somebody would have to leave because they just couldn't get it to work. And that's awful.
Every time I've tried to sign into Xbox Live, it's the same thing like what happens with you. It just gets angry and then wants to do some kind of update, then it just doesn't work. So yeah, same thing. I'm sure lots of other people can relate to our trials and tribulations.
But that's the service that I was paying for as well. Like, throughout the whole of that generation, people were like, Sony sucks, their online's terrible. On Microsoft or with the 360, you pay for a good service. And I was like, what are you talking about? It doesn't work half the time. It's a mess. And then I actually now have a PS3. No problems. I had to format the console because it was a used set thing. Had to set up my account. Took me like 15-20 minutes, and I was good to go. No headaches. Just had to sign into my account when I went on the store, and just had to click on online when I was, in a certain game, and that was it. So good.
But now you can get Halo 3, well, you could have for free.
Yeah.
Oh wait, PlayStation have been doing that for ages now.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they're even with PS Plus, because one thing people was asking about is like, oh, with PlayStation Plus giving away free games, what are they going to do with PS4? Well, they're giving away 2 of those indie games that they're releasing. So, Shogun, which got 83, you can get that for free if you have PlayStation Plus and a PS4.
What about Minecraft?
I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
I hear is that on the way for PS4? They did announce that, right?
Yeah. It's coming. Everything's Minecraft in the end, it seems.
You sound pumped.
God no. PC all the way.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like Minecraft, almost said Microsoft. Minecraft has hit that saturation point, right? Where the people who really liked it are still playing it and enjoy it, but all the people who were like, hey, what's this new thing, have now kind of left.
Yeah, there are similar sorts of voxel games that have kind of tried to take over. So it's taken away people to other things.
Nah, crazy times. Because every time there's a fad, I never imagine a new fad coming along. Because like a year ago, it's like, yeah, play Minecraft, listen to Gangnam Style, have a good time. But now I just can't see any fads in the horizon, but of course they're going to come.
Yeah, you can never predict them.
No.
Unless it's... Well, actually, no, you can.
Well,
people can set up for fads.
Well, that's what's going to make these 2 consoles interesting, because the franchises that were big on the PlayStation or the PS3 and the 360 came out of nowhere. Like, okay, Halo didn't, and Fable, stunk, but you then had Gears of War, which just came out of nowhere, and that was a massive franchise for them. And then on the PlayStation you had Uncharted, which was a massive game, sold millions. The second one got stupidly good reviews. So really, I think during this generation, in the next 2 years, hopefully we're going to get some of these new franchises, because a franchise can only go on for so long, and the current franchises I don't think are going to sustain these 2 consoles for that long. Maybe like one more game, but then that'll be about it.
Look, alright. This is an open letter to Bill Gates.
Sure.
But I'm going to read it out. If you bring back 1v100 for free on Xbox One, I will buy one. There you go.
Wow.
End of letter. Signed, MrMuckluckable. There, that's all I want.
£430 to play 1 versus 100.
Where I can win like 5 Microsoft points, which now don't exist.
No.
Yes.
You can earn some pennies.
Yeah.
No, I think they'll bring... I don't know, I don't know if they'll bring that back. Quiz games are always around, but never that successful. So I think some form of it will come back, but I don't think 1 versus 100 was a big hit. Even though I played it, I had a good time playing it, but...
I loved that.
I mean, I stunk at it, but...
Oh, yeah. Still fun.
Yeah, part of the fun. Getting them all wrong and getting kicked out early, and then having to wait the next day at 7 for the next one to start.
Were you ever the one?
No.
Oh.
I was terrible.
Oh.
I'm not good with general knowledge. It's like, I don't know, I'll guess. Oh, I got it wrong.
That's okay. No 5 Microsoft points for you.
Oh, damn it. I'll never save up enough Microsoft points to get Fable Heroes. Gosh darn.
Maybe someday.
Maybe. Oh, but I think that's it for the next gen consoles or current gen consoles. Although
get it right.
Yeah, for this week. Because the PS4 isn't out over here yet. It's still to come out in like 20 countries. So next week on November 29th, the PS4 is going to get hit by another wave of sales and people buying the thing. So maybe that's part of the excitement not being there. The console isn't out yet where we live. That probably would help.
That is true.
But But anyway, let's move away from some other news, because other news did go on, if you believe me. And one is about Crash Bandicoot. Now, Crash Bandicoot has not been doing well recently. I believe Activision hold the rights to Crash Bandicoot and have for a good while now. And but there's been rumours circulating that they're back with Sony. Now, all this came from some guy on Reddit putting together all this evidence, and all the evidence points to Sony brought back Crash Bandicoot and plan to bring it back at some point. Now, Sony hasn't said anything about this, as currently, but I mean, did you see the Reddit thing and all that evidence? That guy?
Yes, yeah, I did, yeah.
And it's pretty convincing.
Well, I just imagine this guy had one of those boards in some room, and like you see in all the kind of detective things, and he's like got a line from Crash Bandicoot to Activision. He's got like a little post-it note crossing over here, and he just steps back and goes, and it forms this massive Reddit post.
And occasionally he just looks to his left, see a copy of Crash 2, and a single tear comes down his eye, and then he has another shot of whiskey and keeps on at it.
And then this classical music starts playing, and then it says Finn.
Finn, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I should be a director.
You should be, direct one of Barney Gumbel's stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I did see the Reddit post, and it was kind of stuff like all traces of Crash Bandicoot have been removed from Activision's websites and from their support things. So, yeah, I mean, it's going somewhere, definitely.
Yeah, something's going to happen, because Activision, the last game they published was Mind Over Mutant in 2008. So it's now been 5 years since a Crash Bandicoot game. Now, with the decline in platforms in general, it wouldn't be wrong to just assume he's dead. Spyro's gone. I said that a bit grimly.
You did. He's dead.
I could have said the franchise is over, but nope. He died. It's done.
Finn.
Move on, kids. Stop crying. Get the head out of here.
Oh, God.
Santa Claus isn't real. I'm done.
Oh. Enough.
I'm sorry, I'm ruining too many lives.
Yeah.
But no, so I always assumed that it was just done, like Spyro and all that kind of stuff, and like with Sonic and Mario, they have big companies like Sega and Nintendo behind them, so that's why they're still being pushed. But Crash doesn't have that. It was just random people making it for a good while. So, I mean, the big question is, there probably is... Oh, damn it. Crash probably is back with Sony. Like with all this evidence the guy saw and all that, it's a good chance that this is happening. But the better question is, are Naughty Dog making the new Crash game, if it exists?
Yes, they are. I know exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah?
It's going to be an all-star Naughty Dog racing game.
Oh, like Crash Team Racing?
Yeah, except it's going to have Ellie and Joel.
Sure.
It's going to be like Mario Kart, is it Double Dash?
Yeah.
Where they're, two people in the cart, so it's going to have Ellie and Joel. It's going to have Crash and his girlfriend.
Or the sisters Coco.
Sister. Yeah. That got creepy. Sister then. Is it really a sister? I always thought it was a girlfriend when I was young.
No, in the original game, Crash Bandicoot, he had a girlfriend. But then, because it was a kid's game and she was a bit too sexualized, they took out that character and replaced her with Coco, Crash's sister.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you'd have those, and then I never played the Uncharted games, but you'd have that guy and, I don't know...
Nathan Drake and a golden statue.
Yep, and then you'd have...
Jak and Daxter.
Jak and Daxter, yeah, exactly.
That could work.
I'd play that game.
I definitely would. But no, because I was thinking, I was like, is Naughty Dog making the next one? But they're working on the Uncharted game. But they did make Uncharted 3 and The Last of Us at the same time, so they're definitely a big enough studio to make 2 games, and they haven't really announced anything apart from this Uncharted teaser, so it's perfectly possible. I mean, I really hope, if they release a new Crash game made by Naughty Dog on PS4, that's the day I'm getting one. I have to have one of those.
Oh, God, yes. Unless there is a 1v100, but still. But it seems like people say about how Naughty Dog have kind of grown up with their audience. With, Crash and then Jak and Daxter and then Uncharted and then Last of Us. It seems kind of so unrealistic that I reckon it could just be. It's like, are they really going to go back to Crash? It seems like that's so far in the past now, but I reckon, yeah, I could see that.
I think they could do it. I mean, who else would Sony trust Crash with? Like, Activision kind of gave it to a load of people who had some decent ideas, but they weren't like killer companies. So I think now that Sony has it, they have to make sure someone big, and they have to have a winner with this. And they do seem to have a focus on platformers, with Knack being one of the big launch titles. Sure, it's shite, but it was one of the big ones, and it was a platformer, and that's something that hasn't happened in the last 2 generations. So it's definitely possible with this new innovative hippie Sony, when they're supporting indies, and then they have Knack and all this kind of weird stuff. So I don't know, but the weird thing about it is that people, if Naughty Dog made it, people would then completely forget about the PS2 games, just wipe those from memory, and the PS3 360 ones as well, and then it would be like, and people said Crash 1, Crash 2, Crash 3, oh my god, Crash 4, next gen, so good graphics, just insane open worlds, like,
wow, what a jump.
Yeah, it's going to be massive from Crash 3 to the PS4, just what you could do with a platformer.
Yeah, because all those PS2 Crash Bandicoot games, they weren't quite there, were they? That's why they kind of failed. So once it's back in the hands of the people that created it and know it, yeah, you just don't know what they could do with that.
Yeah, it could be anything, and just, oh god. But it's quite interesting though, because with Banjo-Kazooie, they already did that jump in a similar way. They went 2 N64 games and then a 360 game. But a result of it going to the 360 is that Rare looked at the game and looked what they could do in terms of, the potential and the graphics, and that's where the car idea came from. They were like, if we're going to render these big, gorgeous looking worlds, we need a faster way of Banjo to get around, because he can't just walk everywhere. Let's put in cars. And then the whole game was revolved around that. Now, I'm kind of scared that Naughty Dog would do something not similar, because it was a terrible idea, but something like that, because of course the Crash games were very limited with the PS1, so that's why you had very narrow kind of levels where you're just running straight forward. Like Super Mario 64 had big open worlds, but in Crash you were just running straight ahead or straight towards the camera. It's very basic. But with the PS4 they could do so much more, so I don't know if they're going to go for the same style of Crash, but just have it look a lot nicer, or if they are going to go for more of an open world kind of game, because there's so much more they can do now.
I'd like to think they'd at least keep some of the, the kind of old elements. They probably will, but they must realise that a big part of their market or their audience grew up with those games, and they're still there. They still want it. So it'd be nice to kind of give something back to those, a bit of nostalgia in that kind of way. That would be cool.
Yeah, and that, I think that could only work if Naughty Dog made it.
Yeah.
Because with Crash the Wrath of Cortex, which was the 4th game in the series, it replicated the original games to a T, but it was made by Traveller's Tales, the same people that made Sonic R, so it wasn't quite the same.
Traveller's Tales have made a good game, right?
Yeah, they make the Lego games.
Oh, that's where I see that. Yeah, because I recognise their logo. Yeah. Okay.
But they used to be that company who just made average games across the board, and then Lego Star Wars was such a cool, interesting idea, and it was a pretty decent game as well. Then people were like, oh, okay. And then they made Lego Marvel Superheroes, which I still want, and it looks really good, but...
What about Lego The Hobbit?
Well...
Not so much.
No,
okay.
I'll see the new Hobbit film first, and then I'll make my judgment.
Okay. But we'll say all this, and then it won't be Naughty Dog.
No.
It'll be some crap people.
They just can't do that anymore. They can't. Surely not.
I'm sure Jack has no knowledge. We're on first name terms.
Yeah, old Jack. Jackers,
Yeah.
Jackanori,
Yeah.
I call him.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah. Give him some words.
Yeah, I will.
Right, so the last bit of news we're going to talk about is about EA. Now, this isn't massive news, but of course, recently EA brought the rights to make Star Wars games, and straight away they were like, Battlefront. It's happening.
It's like that Family Guy thing with 9/11. It says like Battlefront. Hey!
Battle Front. Woo!
Yay!
Pretty much, yeah, exactly like that. But they have the rights to make Star Wars games for 10 years now, which I actually didn't know. I didn't know it went on for that long, but it makes sense. And very smart move. In these next 10 years, Star Wars is going to explode. So, yeah, EA really got a good deal there. But the interesting thing that they were talking about with the Star Wars games is that they're saying they're not going to make any movie games. They're saying how Episode 7 is going to come out and they're going to take assets from the films, but they're not going to make any games directly based on the films. And the only thing I can say is thank God for that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they've actually kind of realised that movie tie-in games no one likes.
No. Like, the only... the Pixar films have all had movie game tie-ins, but that's about it recently. And it's because of 3D animation translates so well to video games that it makes sense, but they're all but dead now, so, you know, a Star Wars Episode 7, the game would sell, but... Well, it wouldn't even sell that great, because the last Star Wars film to come out was Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now, in that year, 2 games came out that were Star Wars games. One was Revenge of the Sith, the game, and one came out months later and was Battlefront 2. One of them sold really well, and one of them was just kind of awful and got forgotten. You know, I don't know if you can guess which one got forgotten and no one cared about and didn't really sell too great. It's kind of hard.
1v1? Oh, no.
No, not that.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, you nailed it. Now, it didn't sell terribly, but Battlefront 2 sold more because it was its own game, it was good, and people really enjoyed it. So I think EA are most likely looking back on the numbers for Star Wars games and realise that if they make a brand new series in the Star Wars universe and just a brand new series of game that's based off Star Wars stuff, it can become its own franchise and will sell really well as long as it's good. Because that's ultimately what people want. They just want a good Star Wars game and a good Star Wars experience, not recreating specific moments in the games. In the films, sorry.
Yeah. And also, it's kind of smart as well and good because what they can do is you got the film. Film's great or sucks. We don't know. Probably good though.
Fine.
And you have some kind of secondary character, and they say they're going to take assets. It would be cool if you had a kind of game that explored a particular background to someone in the film, or an event that was mentioned in the film. But so you could kind of find out more. I think that would be pretty cool.
So a bit like how The Force Unleashed was set in between 3 and 4, maybe we're going to see a lot of media set between 6 and 7.
Yeah. Yeah. There's loads of expanded universe crap about that. So, yeah, they could do that. I just hope it's better than The Force Unleashed.
Yeah, because they used to be like really experimental with their Star Wars games. Like they went nuts back in the day. On the original Xbox, there were so many Star Wars games. Like Jango Fett had his own game called Bounty Hunter that wasn't very good. Then you had Knights of the Old Republic, Battlefront, the movie games, Republic Commando, and I think there was a Jedi Master. And then there were Clone Wars games. There was a stupid amount of Star Wars games, so I don't think we're going to get that. But it does sound like they're going for that sort of tone, though. The same thing that was going on a few years ago, back when Episode 3 was really big.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it is kind of similar to The Force Unleashed, because The Force Unleashed had that whole media. It wasn't just the game, it was comics and action figures and stuff like that. I suppose they could kind of do the same sort of thing with this.
I mean, I think that's what they're going to go for, a Force Unleashed sort of thing. But Force Unleashed was a good idea. It just kind of felt like a PS2 game and seemed a bit dated back in the day.
Yeah,
but good idea though.
Yeah, and EA. You could moan at them all you want. But they might come out with a good game. So
yeah, EA aren't they're evil, but they don't put out crap in the same way that certain companies do, like Sega. But
EA is just like crappy people moan about customer service, but then that's about it, really.
So yeah, so that's about it for news. Now, I should have mentioned at the beginning about the email address because...
what did you do?
Oh, I just didn't mention it at the beginning of this podcast, which might do a bit of editing. Probably won't, though. But, of course, I've opened up the email for you guys, so if you have any questions or just anything that you'd like us to talk about, maybe an article that you found that was interesting, whatever, you can send your emails at onlytrashherepodcast@gmail.com. And, yeah, you missed it. Last week, me and Cal's answered a couple of emails.
Yeah.
I can direct them at you if you want.
If they're particularly apt, they probably won't be.
Joe, what's going on with Bully 2?
Wagwan? I do not know.
Oh no.
Is it any good?
Well, I'm asked. That was the question.
Oh, no, probably not.
The question was like, do you know anything about Bully 2?
No, I don't want to.
Oh no, that's awful to hear. Then the other.
I'm sorry, I didn't like Bully.
Oh no, that's awful to hear as well. Being a bit of a Debbie Downer.
At least I'm a pioneer Debbie Downer, though.
Pioneer Debbie Downer, wow.
Yeah.
That's a combination right there.
I'm going to having like a really massively long name.
But no, so send your email, saying I have to go over to my damn laptop. Don't know why I had to add in the damn. It's really quite simple, it's right here. Because, we only got one email this week, which was actually from...
Was it spam?
No. No, but, which is from my brother, Edward the guy who was on before. And he wrote it in all caps for some reason. I don't quite get it. But his question is, what is your favourite current gen gimmick? So when he says current gen, he means Wii U, Xbox One, and PS4. So I think the question really is, are there any gimmicks you actually like from this new gen that just came out?
You answer first.
Well, I like the Wii U gamepad and the screen. I played Zombie U. I think it was really cool having that second screen, and to be able to just touch that screen on the bottom is really handy. Like, I played Wind Waker back on the GameCube, and I had a pretty decent time, but playing it on the Wii U with that gamepad and being able to touch the map as I'm sailing and just plan stuff out as head actually was really useful. So I really like the gamepad. Of course, I don't like the Kinect. I think it's useless and pointless. And on the PS4, I guess the PS4 camera is probably awful, but I don't know anything about it. So, yeah, that's all the main gimmicks, I think.
Would the streaming count as a gimmick?
Yeah, I would say that counts.
Because I'd be, if I had a console, I'd be interested to see how it would work. That's probably what I'm most interested in, is the streaming, because up till now, it's tricky to stream. It's tricky to stream games, but yeah, that'd be interesting. Probably that one.
Yeah, I think
that is until Twitch just breaks.
Yeah, which it will. It definitely will. But no, apparently the streaming is really cool on consoles. Like, you can see how many people are streaming a certain game at a certain time, and then you can I think you can search for particular games. So if you want to search for someone streaming Killer Instinct, then you can just search for that and jump into someone's stream. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I mean,
I'd say I don't think it's technical. I don't think it's really a gimmick, but that's what I'm going with.
Well, there's a thin line between gimmick and feature, which is why I don't really like the word gimmick, because I see the word gimmick as a feature that isn't good. You know, like, gimmick has negative, implications to it, when really is a feature sometimes. And that's mostly because with the Wii, everything to do with that console was described as a gimmick, even the good stuff, which were features. So I kind of don't like the word anymore. So
are you saying you can't really have a favourite gimmick?
Yeah, because a gimmick implies it's bad.
Right.
Like, gimmicky is not... You wouldn't say, oh, this is gimmicky. That's not a positive thing to say.
No, that's true. I suppose the question is kind of what's the lesser of the evils?
Yeah, which
probably.
is not as awful.
Yeah.
And the gamepad is the cheapest, so thumbs up.
There you go.
Right, so yeah, so that's it for emails, but yeah, send them at onlytrashherepodcast@gmail.com. Because if we don't get any for a while, then I just won't mention it anymore. That's not like as please send us emails, but it's just I thought I'll give it a go, and if it works out, it works out. But if it doesn't, then that's the way things has to be.
We just have to keep rambling about our own topics.
Damn it, damn.
More work.
But one email that was sent from Chris, which I answered last week with cows. As part of the email he sent, said, "Could you talk more about films whenever there's not much going on, and just talk about films sometimes." And while I won't talk about films, one thing I'm going to bring up is only bloody Doctor Who, because I watched The Day of the Doctor.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
Just in case the people don't know, Doctor Who has its 50th anniversary. They do this big special episode called Day of the Doctor, and it screened last night, or Saturday night, and it was a big success. I think 10 million people watched it in the UK, and I didn't watch it live. I watched it on BBC iPlayer afterwards, because I was just like, I'll check this out. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
And well, I'll give my opinion first, because you're more into Doctor Who. I just kind of watched as this was something big that happened, I'll check it out.
Are there going to be spoilers?
Yes. It's the end of the podcast, so I think spoilers are fine.
Okay, fair enough. Just a warning.
So I watched one Matt Smith episode, which was when the Nazis, or not the Nazis, it was World War II, and then there were Daleks. And I thought
Winston Churchill?
Yeah, it was crap, and I haven't watched it since. And I stopped watching during David Tennant, because I just was kind of done with the series. I was just kind of done with it. I didn't think it was bad, I just kind of was done. So I thought I'll check this out, and with no context of what was going on, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty cool how they rewrote the Doctor's history, but still made it make sense. I mean, there are some things where you kind of have to have a leap of faith with it, in terms of the science of what was going on with the time travel. But there were some things about it that I think was a bit off. It was I didn't like the woman character, or the sidekick, because she seemed to be just doing too much. Like, it's all about the Doctor and what was going on with his past. I don't like that the woman was standing there when they all decided to push the button, just crying. It's like, you don't... And then she's the one who turns them around. It's like, don't push the button, really. I thought that was like, well... They're like three really smart guys. They probably should have came to that. They shouldn't have some crying damsel in distress in the background, like, oh, don't kill everyone. I thought that was kind of a bit silly. And one thing I noticed, though, is that when I was a kid, Doctor Who was really impressive to watch, or the reboot. It really kind of pushed the whole limits of what a TV show could do, and matching it up with film. Of course, there wasn't the same money behind it, but it really did do a good job, and I was really impressed with it as a kid. Watching this, wasn't as impressed with like the sets and the effects and things like that. They seemed a bit amateur. And a lot of that is to do with HBO and AMC putting so much money behind their TV shows that there's now a completely new bar for what to do on television. And I feel Doctor Who has kind of been left behind a little bit in that regard. But apart from that, I thought it was pretty good, and I did enjoy it, even though I'm not a big Doctor Who fan. I did think it was pretty good.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Oh, cheers.
I'm going to seem like such a Debbie Downer now.
Good.
Because
that's what this is all about.
Damn you. This is always just a big ploy. I thought it was good enough. Alright. It fulfilled the criteria of the 50th anniversary. It had all the little references back, and it had some nice little surprises. I'm going to ruin it right now. The Tom Baker bit was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. Did not see that coming at all. But I don't know. It's still just Stephen Moffat, and I do not like his stories. I don't like it. he has to have too much. I understand Doctor Who is a time travel show, but he has to have too much, and it just gets on my nerves. I think I was talking to a few friends about this last night, and one of them quite correctly put about Stephen Moffat. Do you watch Sherlock?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Well, Sherlock is also written by Stephen Moffat, along with someone else called Mark Gatiss. And he kind of said that on his own, Stephen Moffat doesn't really know how to control a story. He kind of does what he wants, and he goes here and there and makes it all crazy complex. And that's why you get these Doctor Who episodes that are just really annoying. Whereas you don't get that in Sherlock, because there's another person there to kind of rein him in. So you get a nice balance. So in this Doctor Who one, I wish they could have had a bit less. The Zygon stuff, right? Do you realise that they never actually kind of finished that storyline at all?
What, of them taking over the world?
They leave them in negotiations and then it's like gone.
Wait, no, they must have... They were there.
They just dropped it. That bugged me.
I would assume that David Tennant went back to fix that.
Oh, but the fact you have to assume is bad.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
If they they
did fix it, didn't they? Because the humans were in negotiations with them, but they both didn't know which one was which.
Yeah.
So they were coming to a stalemate or trying to come up with something, and they don't show them actually coming up with a conclusion, but that's what they were doing.
I just didn't like that. I thought they were quite cool looking things, but if they had less of those and a simpler enemy, as it were, then you could have had more. Because I think one of my favourite scenes was just the 3 doctors in that Tower of London.
Yeah.
The best bit is just them interacting with each other, because that's what you don't get any time else. I wanted more of that and less of stupid Zygons. Oh no, monsters. Ugh.
What?
And also, hang on, I'm not done.
Okay.
I want to moan a bit more. This is what else I was moaning to my friends about the other night. I was saying how Stephen Moffat doesn't know how to write dialogue. He doesn't know how to write dialogue. Everything in Doctor Who now is a snappy one-liner, and it's just one-liner to each other. There's no actual dialogue, okay? In Russell T Davies' episodes, how the hell do you say that? With David Tennant, okay, they were a bit cheesy, but there was kind of... It was realistic sometimes, the dialogue. It was just people talking to each other. And I don't get that in these Matt Smith episodes. It's not like... They don't talk like normal people.
Well, that's fair enough in the general show, but this was like the 50th big episode, so I mean, you wouldn't kind of expect that anyway.
What do you mean?
Like, it's a big episode where there's a lot of story going on and there's a lot of events happening. It kind of has to move at that faster pace where you're not going to have those moments. So the fact that they did manage to get in one scene about that and fit in the big grand story, I think he did a pretty good job with that.
Well, I just think that there could have been more... The ending, especially, was supposed to be kind of... I think I remember seeing a quote from Stephen Moffat saying, like, the ending is a kind of sucker punch for emotion.
Oh.
And I didn't really feel that. I thought it was some cheesy, horrible Photoshop. There was a chance to have some real kind of depth, and I didn't feel it. Didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't kind of get that with the ending. Because I did like the overall story, like changing the Doctor, that much and still having it all make sense and be put together. But yeah, that ending could have been something more. Like, they could have almost done like a Star Trek thing where they then like, I must find the blah blah blah, brr, and then it's like, I will keep on searching forever. They could have done something like that, but I didn't see, because leading up to this, there were tons of images of all the Doctors together. So ending it on that, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that tons of times. Because even though I don't search out Doctor Who stuff, I've seen that image all over the place. Seeing all the Doctors at once isn't that impressive.
Although, having said all that kind of negative stuff, I did enjoy it, and I thought, like you say, the way they squeezed in that extra Doctor was quite, and still kind of work within the Doctor Who history was quite clever, and I quite liked it. Although I should point out that apparently it would have been very different if Christopher Eccleston had agreed to take part in this, because originally it was just going to be those three, but because Eccleston kind of wants to distance himself from it, they had to create a whole new Doctor.
So was Eccleston, would he have been the War Doctor?
Yeah. There wouldn't have been any John Hurt at all.
Huh. See, I think that would have been worse.
Really?
I liked the idea of the Doctor, there being one Doctor which has this massive burden, and then he moved away from it. It would seem weird if you saw the first season again, knowing that it was that particular incarnation that did the big event. I think that would be a bit strange.
Maybe. Yeah. It would have been nice to have seen the 9th Doctor again. No, wait, 9th? Yeah, no.
10th?
10th?
No?
Wait. No, 9th. I think it's 9th.
Matt Smith was the 11th, so yeah, 9th.
Yeah, yeah. It would have been nice to see him again.
And also, that was kind of
maybe
confusing. What was going on with the new one being in it for a split second?
Oh, God. I don't know. Just his creepy eyes.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. Like, why would he be there? The Doctor hasn't become that person yet. So I guess they're implying that the series final for this new series with the new Doctor has him returning to that. So probably this new Doctor was involved in making sure that the plan actually happened, and then he knows something about where it is.
Yes. Yeah, I'd assume. I mean, maybe they're just, like you said, probably just setting themselves up for the new series.
Yeah, because the Doctors weren't sure if this was going to work, so there has to be some other element where the Doctor eventually does intervene and help out.
Yeah, but it was good, but what I still find quite funny though is that despite this massive marketing for this, I mean, it's just been everywhere. All these extra shows that have been made, like there was a drama about the making of Doctor Who with the caretaker out of Harry Potter. He was in it. And all these radio programs and all these extra programs, despite all that and being broadcast worldwide, although this is just UK figures, it's still got less views than an episode of Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it got like 11 million views last week.
That's awful.
I know.
People are awful.
More people want to watch Bruce Forsyth and some hairy biker dance around. It's just bizarre.
I guess it's still... Sci-fi is never going to beat reality TV. It's just never going to happen.
No, sadly not.
What about a sci-fi reality TV show?
Done. Oh my goodness.
Celebrity Big Brother in space.
Yeah, there you go.
I would watch that. Totally watch that.
Speaking, just very, very small tangent, because I know that this is supposed to be a video game podcast. But the question was about films. Have you seen Gravity?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Awesome.
It was good. There you go.
Well, with Gravity, I really did want to go to see it, but then I was really excited about it. I was like, yeah, let's go, it's going to be awesome. But then, when I was watching 4-2, I saw an advert for it, and I was watching it in a cinema, and it was 2D, and it looked crap. Like, it just looked horrible. Like, Sandra Bullock spinning in space. It was like, this is all CGI.
Is that your name for her?
Yeah. That's what I'm going to go with.
I love that.
But, yeah, it just looked bad. So I was like, in IMAX 3D, it probably looks amazing, but there's not one near me, so I'm not going to waste my time watching this film in 2D, so I just never saw it.
Do you plan on seeing it on DVD?
Maybe. Watching that trailer in 2D really killed it for me. I was like, this looks bad. Like, all of it is blatantly CG, and it's like blatantly meant to be for an IMAX, and probably looks amazing. I mean, did you see it in the IMAX, or just normal 3D or 2D?
Just regular old 3D.
Ah.
Yeah. Still look good, though. The visuals are the best part. Story, a bit poop.
Well, you can kind of, as long as something excels, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't have it all.
No.
Well, there we go. There was some film talk. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, we're great at this.
Pros.
Next week, we'll be talking about Crap. What films come out?
I don't know.
Uh,
Not The Hobbit. That's in like December. Then
I don't know.
I think Anchorman.
Oh, Hunger Games. We're talking about Hunger Games.
Oh God, do we have to?
No, don't worry.
Good. I will say one thing about the Hunger Games though. I did not like the original, or I didn't hate it at the time, but the more and more I think about it, the more I hate it. And then I saw the trailer for the new one thinking, okay, the first one was just setting it up. I'll watch the second one, they'll continue the story, maybe it'll be the Dark Knight of the series. And it's just, oh, we're going to do the Hunger Games again.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind
the
of
same.
crap story is that? You can't just do the same film and story again. It's like, I'll just send her back in, she'll have a ball.
But this time, it's against the winners.
Who cares? Like, that either means that the whole first film was completely pointless because the stakes weren't as high and it was the exact same situation, or this one is just a massive rip-off of the first one. So either way, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, lose-lose.
I thought they were gonna do something because I saw the poster. It was like elect Jennifer Lawrence or whatever for president or whatever was going on there. So I thought, oh, okay. So now they're gonna do a celebrity thing where she's a big icon but trying to save her sister or some crap. But nope, just Hunger Games again. Send her back in.
Oh no. Now they've got to swim to the middle bit.
Yeah, oh god, because they can't. Oh, it's so stupid. I don't know how they can get away with it, or how the books were successful if that was the story.
I have faith in the books. I hope the books are better. I've heard stuff about the books being better.
Probably, but
apparently the books are a lot more violent.
Oh, there we go.
They die in more horrific ways and gory ways.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I would like to see Jennifer Lawrence in that film die in a gory, horrible way.
Oh my goodness, you've just insulted the internet. The internet loves Jennifer Lawrence.
Why?
They really do, because she's normal. She's a normal celebrity,
she's not.
apparently.
She's a celebrity, big actress.
You're going to get some angry emails now.
Oh, this is ridiculous. She's not one of those.
Well, people they link interviews of her, and she answers questions just like normal people would, and she's kind of awkward and like kind of socially awkward, and that kind of relates to the internet.
Screw her. She's awful.
Oh,
I don't care about her personal life. I want a good actress. When I see a film, I want to do a good job. She doesn't do a good job, get her out of it.
Next week it will just be me presenting the podcast.
Okay. Well, I'm being lynched.
You'll be gone. You're gone.
Dear.
I'm sorry.
I would like that. I would like to see that next week. You just, hey guys, it's Mr. McLuckable. Honest Tom is dead. That PS4 is nuts. I think it'd be good.
Yeah. I'll just talk about 1 versus 100 for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, just it was a quiz game, but it did things differently.
Mm-hmm. We're going to go through every question that I answered.
God.
Yeah.
Somehow make the podcast more boring to listen to. That's a skill.
Look out for that next week.
Nice. Well, anyway, with that, I think it's time to end of the podcast. So, thank you very much for joining me, Mr. McLuckable, and choosing to return.
Pioneer Muckluck. Yeah, I was pleased to be here.
Awesome.
But you've got to sandwich it, Pioneer at the beginning, Pioneer at the end.
Yeah, Pioneer, Muckluck, Pioneer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
People can shorten that to Pioneer, so...
Yeah, not as good.
No, it's not great. Well, anyway, so yeah, thanks for joining me, and we will see you guys next week.
See ya.